The next type of problems we're going to take a look at are the problems that give you an amount of solute. They ask you to classify it. It ends up being unsaturated. And then they want to know how much more of solute could you dissolve in that solution. So let's take a look at our example problem. Our example problem is that we have 80 grams of NaNO3 at 30 degrees Celsius, and that's considered unsaturated. It wants to know how many more grams of solute would you need to add in order to make the solution saturated at that temperature. So our first step here is going to be to take the given information in the problem and turn it into an ordered pair. So it's giving us 80 grams at 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, again, my 30 degrees Celsius temperature is on my x, so I know that's going to become my x coordinate, and then 80 grams of solute, that's grams of solute on my y, so that's going to become my y. Again, we write our ordered pairs x, comma, y. So this quickly gets turned into 30, comma, 80. From here, we're going to go ahead and plot that point. So 30, 80, I'm right here. The compound in question is NaNO3. All right, so clearly I'm below the line, so I'm going to be unsaturated, and that's established in the problem. It's not new information for us. What the question is asking is how many more grams of solute would you need to add in order to make this solution saturated at this temperature? So reminder, we're working at 30 degrees Celsius, and it wants to know, since 80 grams at 30 degrees Celsius is not considered saturated, what is, and how many more do we need to add in order to get to saturation? Now, as a reminder, above the line, supersaturated, below the line, unsaturated, that's where we're at, and on the line is considered saturated. So what we want to, even though we're existing right now at 80 grams at 30 degrees Celsius, we want to end up, and we want to move that point from here all the way up to exactly on the line, still staying at 30 degrees Celsius. So if we see this and we come over to figure out how many grams is actually considered saturated at 30 degrees Celsius. So again, we would come up from 30 degrees Celsius, see where our line crosses, and come over to our Y value. Now that looks about 90, 95, and it's actually, you can't tell from my point here, but a hair up, so I'm actually going to call this 96 grams. All right, and so since this is 96 grams, and right now, the blue, remember, is representing where we're currently at. We're currently only at 80, all right? I know that in order to be considered saturated, I'm gonna have to go from 80 to 96. So to figure out how many more I need to add in order to get there, all you have to do is figure out the difference between these 2 points, which ends up being 96 minus 80, and we end up with 16 grams. So we would need to add 16 more grams to move this point up onto the line and be considered saturated.